Roos versus Roos. Kalp versus someone who struggles with spell. And that's right, it is gonna be the return of Kalp featuring a new player in this 1v1. It's gonna be Baguette. Baguette, for those who are unfamiliar, is a top 100 ELO player. He is currently sitting in 82nd place with 1,639 ELO rating, 93 games played, and a 66% win rate. So somewhat on the rise. Kalp has featured on the channel before. I think he's around the 150 ranking right now, so just outside that 100. Definitely a talented player, definitely pretty skilled. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be popping in this Roos on Roos matchup. Is it going to come down to that typical Castle Age rush? Are we just going to get Horse Archer versus Springald? Yawn? Or is someone going to actually try and evolve this Roos bow into something new? We'll have to find out. Hunting Cabin opening though. Slight edge there for Baguette. I don't expect any deviation from the opening. I think the opening right now that the Roos players engaged with is very solid. I think I've been doing this opening since day one. I think a lot of players have as well. You start constructing Hunting Cabin. You have a second villager that comes out. And he's actually choosing to keep on the food line, but usually you can stick a second villager onto the house, and then they both move across the lumber camp and construct it. And the reason is because, obviously, playing the Roos, you don't need gold, right? You don't need gold from gold veins anyway. You just get it from hunting. And in that regard, it looks like Kalp went for the sneaky boy play. He didn't snipe his own deer. And in fact, he's now looking in the wrong places for them. We can see where they are, and look at the move route from Baguette. He wants vengeance. He got some of his in the end. In fact, he got the majority, right? 95 compared to the 70. But now, if he spots this on the south side, Kalp is completely unaware of this. He ran west and north, which means that he's missing his deer, and he realizes it just in time to turn around, but he's not going to realize it in time to get it himself. So, instead, gathering a lot of wolves. I like this play. Usually, wolves spawn on this map generation. It's usually on the outskirts, as you're seeing. So, if you just cycle around there, you'll find a decent amount of sheep and wolves to go with it. But now, look at this. Baguette. Cha-ching! He's being attacked by the wolves, so a little bit wonky. He might not be able to hang around for too long in that regard. But he will get a decent amount of these. And yeah, Kalp arrives just in time to actually get involved. So, won't sacrifice the whole load. And because he has 2 scouts here, he will have the advantage. Right now, actually, Baguette, 3 scouts compared to the 4 out of Kalp. So Kalp will definitely get his fair share of the scalps here. More than his fair share, I should say. Even looking to snipe out the wolves as well. Oh, no, he didn't check it. Wait, but he sees it. So he sees the deer. Or at least he should have. But he doesn't go for it. So he just surrendered these deer over. He doesn't get rid of the wolves either. He is bringing in new scouts, though. So there you go. He will arrive in time to get some of this. It's just funny to watch this, right? Like, we've seen matchups where one Roos player fails on this front entirely. But both of these players, playing this generation enough, playing this map style, understand that usually the deer spawn very close together. And if it does it on one side, it's going to do it on the other, right? So they just kind of mirror the moves. And in the end, Baguette definitely not getting the lion's share, but trying to make up for it by sniping out the wolves. And you can see now he's just waiting for his opponent to attack. Too late, though. Won't get it. So Kalp unlocks tier 2. He has the advantage. He'll be gathering food quicker now. He also has more gold to work with, and he's ready for a tech up already. Baguette will begin his own. Kalp, a little bit delayed, but I expect the same out of both. No one ever goes Kremlin anymore. Kremlin just feels like poop, right? Why would I have a plate of crap when I can actually have like a 4-course meal, right? Which is what getting a Golden Gate is, because it's just, it boosts your economy, allows you to get those quicker timings of Castle Age. If you ever get pinned in and can't reach one of your eco line types, that's fine. Golden Gate has you sorted, mate. It's a better marketplace. You can trade for that. And that's just what makes it so goddamn glorious. So, a lot of workers on this from Baguette. 6, I think Kalp put, yeah, 6 as well. So, quick tech up from both of them. I've seen a lot of players just put maybe 4 max. They're not that scared about a slower Golden Gate timing. But I think every little detail can matter in this matchup. And they're both aiming for the same goal, right? Which is going to be Castle Age. So it just makes sense that you should actually prioritize getting your tech ups as quickly as possible. Not to mention in this matchup, right? The other important detail is going to come into fruition now. You just see it there, professional scouts. Something that now Baguette will have the edge in. And this would be something I'd like to see him push. I'd love to see him just actually have the scouts at the ready on his enemy's deer site, right? The problem is that Baguette, yeah, okay, so he did go up to 4 scouts in the end. So 4 and 4. Kalp begins researching, and he should be moving towards the deer location soon. And you can see a similar move by Baguette down here. I think he was looking for more wolves. Because remember, he never unlocked that second tier. Everyone just ignored this one deer. They decided that Bambi gets to live. They've watched Disney movies too often. And hopefully, just like in that movie, this deer will not come back to kill you at the end with a shotgun. You guys should watch Bambi. I think that's what I watched. There was definitely like mother getting killed and vengeance in there somewhere. So it's more or less the same movie. There we go. Finally, the final deal will go down. Bambi will not see her story out this time around. Wait a second. No, it wasn't Bambi. It was I've forgotten his name now. Guys, I remember what movie it was. It was not Bambi. It was Inigo Montoya. I totally forgot it was Princess's Bride. Sorry, I'm always getting those two mixed up. So similar movies. I probably should have a sarcasm meter somewhere on the screen. Someone is genuinely going to believe. Or maybe that's the double trick. Maybe I'm trying to twist it now and convince you that actually I did think that the Bambi was Princess's Bride and I didn't. Just mean it as a joke. You'll never know. You know what is no joke? Professional scouts, baby. Look at all that drop-off. Juicy food. Calp, doing the same. Now, where has the yoink thing occurred? They're basically just stealing from each other. It's so stupid. Can we highlight just how silly this is? Yeah, okay. Baguette has identified how dumb this is, and I think Calp's done the same thing. Because they both had the exact same idea, they're just corpse yoinking each other. So there's actually no gains. They're just delaying each other, right? Like, they're delaying themselves, actually, in reality, right? They run across, take each other's bodies, and then after the first load, realize that's what's happening. So they just take their own. Much better play. It's so cool just the way that, like, players in these mirror matchups are just so in tune and in sync with what they do. Baguette did go up to 5 scouts in the end, but it's going to be a wasted effort, I think. I think there's just enough carcasses left here, so there's 2 here. There is actually, maybe there's 6 total, I think. So he might be able to corpse yoink. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to, actually. Meanwhile, Baguette already cleaned up all of his, right? Because Calp, remember, he was, he's got a little bit of a longer run compared to these ones that Baguette had to do, so he's able to grab them quicker. There we go. He'll move them away. I'm just looking at the corpses. So we've got 2 here stacked on top of each other. It seems that we decided to kill these poor animals in the middle of their lovemaking. And then there's another carcass, which... Did he scout it? It's sitting right here. Look, look, look. You can't see it. Is it... Yeah, right here. Behind the tree in the stealth forest. I've talked about this before, guys. If you actually want to, like, troll your opponent, take the carcasses and stick them in the stealth forest. But it seems like Baguette's got the graphical settings so that you can perfectly see it. He does get it in the end, so he'll snatch these 2 corpses away. So after all that, Baguette definitely taking the slight lead. Getting the value out of going for that extra scout as well. Doesn't feel like he's been ripped off. Abbey Trini is being built. Calp is not ready for this. He's lacking on the gold. He never got anyone on the gold line. He's been relying on hunt cabins. And also the trade. So he's going to be beaten to the punchline here. And this means that Baguette can then have an advantage towards getting these relics. These relics that... Baguette knows all of the locations of, except for this one in the northwest, right? Or west of his location. Meanwhile, Calp, I think Calp knows about all of their locations. Yeah, he sees every single one of them. So what we're getting at is maybe Calp gets 1 relic if he's lucky. And he will begin construction now. Does commit 8 workers to it, seeing that he's behind his opponent. He needs to be rapido into this. Trip archery range drop. Should be the same coming out already. Yep, and Baguette, that means he's going to have a military force, right? And this gets a little bit scary for Calp. Because it means that the pressure is going to be on your economy. And it's going to hurt. And you can see he has at least got that wooden fortress to protect his wood line. And it isn't exposed just yet. Does get the blacksmith down already. We haven't seen the same amount with Baguette. That's a mistake. We always see the blacksmith dropped alongside the trip archery range. Huge damage boost and survival boost. Just getting your hands on the range resistance and range damage increase. I think a lot of people sleep on this, like, oh, it's only 1 damage. Like, yeah, but if you have 20 archers, do you want to think about that number for a second? Adds up quickly. And will win you the fights in equal numbers. So, scouts push back to his base. Archery range is down, but not ready to go just yet. Abbey Trinity is about to be complete. In the meantime, 1 relic already about to be banked. there is a second Monk moving, right? There should be. Oh, no, it looks like there was a mistake there made by Baguette. Baguette didn't buy for the extra gold, so he wasn't keeping a constant streak of Warrior Monks, and he hasn't even banked this! If it sounded like it hurt my throat, it hurt my brain more. It hurt my heart more. Please, Baguette. Come on, Baguette. Please, Baguette. Okay, thank God he done it. So he does bank it. Second Monk coming out soon. First one being built right now for Calp, so definitely the lion's share going the way of Baguette off the back of this. He should get 3, possibly 4 of these relics at this rate. Remember, he doesn't know about this one up here. We highlighted that before. So he knows there's one still in contention that he doesn't know the location of. But right now, his priority is how do I get pressure onto the enemy base, right? And it's not going to be a stone line because I don't remember the last time I actually saw a Roost player mine stone in the game at all. At least not until Keep Territory, right? They never do it for the TC plays. So he has to be on the other side. But remember, he's not using the gold line at all because of the way that you play Roost. And you don't need gold right now because remember, you're looking for the gold treacle from relics, plus the fact that you can just get it through hunting cabins as well, which he has 2 of and is building the 3rd one. Something that Baguette is neglecting right now. He's actually not spamming hunting cabins. So gold-wise in the coming minutes, it potentially could go Calp's way. As long as he secures 3 of these relics, I like his positioning. Or 2 of these relics, rather. He's definitely not getting 3. If he somehow still gets 3 relics, then Baguette was drunk. Luckily, Baguette is, well, at least for him, luckily, he's only drunk on power. As you can see, he yoinked this relic, he's going out for the other one, and a fight is ensuing. Home field for Calp. Number advantage is there in the Horse Archer front for Baguette, but the scouts are somewhat of a problem, so he needs to get through them before he gets engaged in melee. And now you can turn around and deal with the Horse Archers. Content with the damage he's done to the scout line. So Calp has to back up here. Losing another one on the exit. Scout runs around here, says, oh yes, awesome, we can eat horse tonight. Oh wait, you can't pick those up. Could you imagine, guys? Return horse carcasses worth 300 food somehow. Tesco's. That's a UK joke. It's going to go over some people's heads. But yes, Baguette just continuing to spam out the Horse Archers from those 3 ranges. Has now got the Blacksmith drop and is going for the Boy's Fortitude. I love this play, actually. In this matchup, it's such a slept-upon tech, right? It's an initial 20 health to each of these units. You're basically giving yourself an extra 25% health pool, right? Huge buffer. Means it takes so much longer. We talked about how amazing the range resistance can be, but this is actually an even bigger deal, in my opinion. I think he could go Boy's Fortitude, prioritize Steeled Arrow, and then come back for Iron Undermesh afterwards. He can get all of them anyway, right? They're not pricey. But it's because he banked relics earlier, right? And he's got more of them. That he's able to afford the Boy's Fortitude that can actually be considered quite pricey for a Roost player at this stage in the game at 500 gold. And you can see the prices are getting to Calp, right? He's dropping the marketplace now. And he has to move out for the Sacred Sites. Yeah, he needs gold treacle elsewhere is his problem. He's not going to find it in the center, though. This amassment coming his way, he's just going to end up losing this Monk at this rate. He should begin and complete the cap before he gets sniped, though. But they'll just decap it and take it for themselves. And Calp needs a solution right now because he's definitely behind on the numbers, and he's going to keep staying that way. I love the idea of the front line of scouts, but I don't know how effective it is with the way the ranged units interact right now, right? Like, you only force them into melee if they are targeting you, right? The one that is actually attacking them in melee. If they target a different person, they keep hitting in ranged. And also, I think Horse Archers especially are quite clunky. They don't tend to get locked into a melee form at all. At least not from what I've seen. So I love this instead. Calp, he goes for the economy. And look, he snipes a relic on the ground that didn't get banked. Whoopsie daisy. So remember, you can't put more in it. And look at that. Going to be forced to garrison. So many exposed villages, though. This is problematic. He might wipe Calp's army, but Calp doing some perma damage to the economy front of Baguette. As he'll keep on chasing through. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He never built a wooden fortress, Baguette. Feeling so confident, so overpowering, that the thing that overpowers him in the end is his own ego. And while he rinses most of Calp's forces here, it does cost him a decent dent in his eco. So Baguette now at 33 compared to 48 for Calp. Also, just to explain the situation around the relics right now, the reason that he can't bank it and he's going to probably be confused by it is there's this really weird interaction at the moment that exists with the Abbey of Trinity. Abbey of Trinity is actually designed to only take 3 relics. It doesn't tell you this. Like Radiant's Cathedral, that at least tells you, right? The problem is that Abbey of Trinity is also clunky as hell because if you don't have 3 relics in it, but you have multiple monks carrying relics, and you click to bank on the Abbey of Trinity, they will actually all drop their relics inside. Now, it's not as disgusting, obviously, as the duplication trick, but this means that you can actually bank all 5 relics in an Abbey of Trinity instead of that free cap if you pull them out, hold them, and then select all and choose to bank them. So a small exploit, not a dirty one at all. I wouldn't be that like outraged if a player utilized it. It is just a clunky interaction that needs to be fixed. As far as I can tell, it seems that the problem with that is that right now, the way the game does it is that it does the checksum. It checks if you're allowed to bank the relic when you click. When what it should actually be doing is once your monk reaches it and tries to place it, it should be doing the check at that point. And that should be a simple change in the code. Once they do that, it should be functioning as intended. And all such is functioning as intended as they move in. Baguette now looking for vengeance against Kalp. Kalp, who did go for a second TC in the end. This is so cool. We usually never see this. I was talking about this earlier. We never actually see people utilize the stone, but he has done exactly that. But he's done it the way I want to see. You don't go on the stone outcropping as the roots. You just buy the stone. But now he's taking a dent into the eco. There's Baguette trying to push his number advantage here. No military force to defend himself with. Kalp in a bit of trouble. But it's so hard to get through these defenses, right? All you can do is hit anything squishy and exposed. You can't do any damage to the buildings as the horse archers. So he will be forced away, content with the damage he's done. Kalp now brought a little bit more in check. It's 33 villagers for Baguette compared to Kalp at 45. But remember, he's going to scale better now with that second TC. A second TC that's going to be matched as Baguette moves out to construct a new economy line. Love this play. Like that he understands that this game is not going to end right now. Neither of them build siege weapons. They're only building horse archers. What you actually need is to find a way to scale your economy so you don't get outpaced and then worry about your opponent simply going Imperial Age on your ass. So, cool idea. Like that. The other play, by the way, off the back of double TC, is either you're looking at Imperial Age or you want to support an economy for 5 like archery ranges in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Well, 3 to 4. And that's achievable numbers. So we'll have to see if that's his prioritization. I don't mind the idea of going Imperial Age here. It could also just be to support siege weapons. Keep in mind that wood lines are very finite here. He's already chomped through half this one. He's only got this one left over. A lot more wood to work with. I think Baguette got some more trees compared to his opponent on both wooden fronts. And that could, like, sway him into a different way, especially with these trees nearby. Like, overall, actually, Baguette's tree spawns are much better. And I think tree spawns are incredibly important for Roost players. It's definitely, like, top half of civs that rely heavily on wood, right? Whether you want wooden fortresses, the fact you get more value there, the fact that you can trade it for gold in your Golden Gate, the fact that you need it for your horse archers and your transition to Springalds, which feels like it's a natural transition, especially for later on when you buff your Springalds to have more range than any other civ. Like, all of it screams, we need wood, right? Whereas I like to say, from a classic game, wood needed, right? Everything about Roost screams wood needed. Still no hunting cabin plays, by the way. Very, very surprised by Baguette. That being said, he does have 3 relics, right? So he's getting great treacle. And he did build a monastery to bank the other one, so it's actually, yeah, it's 4 in the end. So overall, in fact, you can see the numbers, right? If we look at the income per minute, Baguette vastly exceeding Kalp's. Kalp not having a single person on gold. He bought a few hunting cabins, but he didn't continue to keep that trend up. And because he's munching through this tree line so quickly, he's not going to be able to actually continue that trend at this rate. They're just going to be gone. And also the sacred sites, right? All sacred sites controlled means that Kalp has to come out and play. He will look to decap this one, and this is what makes it very awkward to try and get sacred site victories and why it's kind of rough that it takes 10 minutes total, right? Is like when they're spread out on a map like this, unless you are absolutely just demolishing your opponent and they have no military and they're not coming out of their base and you surround their entire base, you cannot achieve a sacred site victory that easily. I say that. So far, he's doing a reasonable job of it. Yeah, these small skirmishes by Kalp are a mistake. I think he just needs to send a big bulk of horse archers, but he's paranoid, right? Like, these eco lines are becoming more exposed. They're becoming too fat to be protected. And he's worried that they're going to get attacked. And he should be worried, because look at this. Baguette's coming back to his base. Knocking at your door. Pushes in. Snipes out 3 already. Make that 4. Easily going to double up to the 8. He needs to engage right now. He has equal numbers. 16 horse archers. Compare that to his opponent, Baguette. Sitting up at 20, but he is on the home field with the assistants, right? So he forces him away. Once again, eco damage done. Kalp now at 45. 43. Baguette has closed the distance. And the difference is that Kalp, right, he hasn't been across the Baguette side of the map in like 5 minutes. He doesn't know about this second TC. So he probably thinks that he can keep getting away with losing a villager here and there. He'll continue to outscale his opponent. He's dead wrong. He's fallen behind. He's fallen greatly behind. And he needs to find a solution. He needs to find an answer soon, or this game is just going to turn into a slow and stagnant death. So for once, Kalp able to take the winning trade there, as his 3 enemy horse archers will be outnumbered by his 13. That's some good maths for you guys. 13 is a bigger number than 3, folks. Did he ever get Boy's Fortitude? He never got Boy's Fortitude. This is the rough part, right? These equal trades suck for him still. I'm so concerned about this. He also never got the level 2 techs because Kalp's been so starved on the gold front, right? 165 gold per minute. Look at the surplus that Baguette has. He can buy all the food he needs if need be. He can go for a tech up if need be. He can do whatever he wants, okay? The world is his oyster. Actually, I guess the world is his cloister in this situation because it's all about that religious power. Not that much religious power. Okay, I know I've said before warrior monks are strong, folks, but they're not that strong. That's some Gandalf levels of BS, taking on a whole army. What the hell? Charges in. Scouts give him the edge here, but Saint's Blessing only being utilized by one side here, because remember, Kalp couldn't keep spamming out the warrior monks. He just doesn't have the gold intake. However, he does have the numbers, and he is pushing his opponent back. And this is where scouts might start to be spammed out in response. I think you kind of need them if you're Baguette. But the Cruel Retreat, definitely getting rid of that scout army, and then you can prioritize the horse archers in his own base. Remember, we talked about this before. Like, outside of these scouts, you have no way of denting the buildings. He moves the eco line away, and remember, he went up to those 5 archery ranges we're talking about. So he's able to outscale his opponent now. And in fact, he's thinking about going for normie archers as well. He's even prepping for it. He wants that quicker production, right? It's 11 seconds compared to the 16. Because he also did research into the quicker recruitment time, right? Military Academy. Something that Kalp never done. So Kalp, the losing battle continues. As he'll equal out a trade, he won't be able to replace his army as quickly, and his economy is just not scaling anywhere near as quickly as Baguette's now. I mean, you see the food looks good, right? But that's because of transitions. That's because of priorities elsewhere. It's the gold that's still worrying me. Like, Baguette, as we said before, can just continue to buy whatever he needs, all right? He was born a rich kid, apparently. He's the Mark Cuban of AoE 4 right now in this game. Actually, I guess that's more Guz, considering he always has gold every game he plays. I mean, Baguette just looking to buy the entire bakery with this sort of income. Kalp, at least cutting off the tree killer. Smart play just to split onto these, and more troops coming in. Baguette needs to stop producing out of this. It's not working. He's just losing troops. And he builds more behind, so he's building double archery range behind as well. Understands that this is no longer an option, but because it's only a few scouts and a bunch of archers, it's going to take them ages to get through it, right? In the meantime, if he wanted, he could easily go for some standard veteran archers. He did get the tech. I don't know if that was a misclick. It feels like it must have been a misclick because he hasn't bothered at all. Just feels like horse archers will be good enough. And remember, Kalp still sitting on only 3 archery ranges, doesn't have military academy. So once you get 5 archery ranges operational and producing, you will be able to outmass Kalp indefinitely. The only concern I do still have is these scouts. These scouts that he is not actually bothering to match. They have been making a difference. We talked about this. The scouts are actually incredible value. 60 food for 110 health. It's just a tank. It's literally all it is. And if it gets ignored, it bogs down your range units. And then more importantly, can even raid in with the main party. As we're seeing, he finds the pocket expansion. Baguette has way too many villagers here as well. There is no way to box them all in and protect them. There's only room for 10, and he cuts them off from even engaging and garrisoning here. So villagers will back up. Baguette does arrive with a military force. Then done again, though. Kalp now sitting at 52 villager count. Baguette down at 43. And despite having a huge surplus of gold, still no way of using it. My God, the 100 cabins. All right, guys. I wondered how he had so many scouts. I have not seen so many scouts in so long. But it really is the answer. And look at the pinch. He comes around the back. Baguette. Well, he's no longer the Baguette. He's actually the meat inside the Baguette. And he is surrounded on all sides. He's going to lose the horse archer army again. And after that, there are so many scouts coming in that he could siege through the base here. And despite no access to gold versus all the access to gold in the world, it actually doesn't make the difference. Baguette never finds a way to utilize it. Kalp overwhelms him with the most basic military unit in the game. and proves why scouts, even 25 minutes into a game, can be such a decisive and overwhelming force, as Baguette will call the GG. Oh, so well played. Absolutely amazing to just watch the plays with the scouts. The amount of hunting cabins he drops, Calp's identification that he's limited and stunted on the gold front. He can't go for quality, so what does he do? He goes for quantity. He can never match the gold treacle that his opponent has with all the relics secured, so he does the one thing he can, which is counters out the amassment of horse archers with an amassment of scouts.